Kael steps into a world of untapped potential, guided by the Grand Master. In the shadows, Alaric stirs, hinting at the dark forces to come. Subscribe to Turmoil Studio to continue the Eclipse Saga. Dawn broke like a whisper across the valley, the light crawling over broken stones and silent ruins that remembered war. Golden threads of sunlight traced the edges of shattered columns and jagged rocks, casting long, thin shadows across the moss-strewn ground. Kael rose from uneasy sleep, breath slow, heart heavy with visions that refused to fade. The air shimmered with something ancient. The child pulsed faintly in his grasp, its warmth calling him forward, sending ripples of soft gold across his palm. Every step seemed to echo in the stillness, as if the ruins themselves were holding their breath. Mist clung to the ground as he walked toward the training grounds. Each step felt heavier than the last, dew soaking into his boots, grass bending beneath his weight. The distant mountains caught the first glimmers of sunlight, painting the valley in shades of amber and shadow. Kael could still hear the Grand Master's distant voice, steady, calm, unyielding, reminding him that strength was born not in victory, but in endurance. A faint breeze whispered through the trees, carrying scents of damp earth and faint smoke, stirring the tension in the morning air. The Grand Master awaited him beneath the fading stars, robes swaying in the wind, staff grounded deep into earth scarred by time. Dust swirled at his feet, catching sunlight in shimmering particles. "To awaken," he said, voice deep and resonant, "is to remember what was lost." Kael bowed, sweat forming on his palms, eyes tracing the faint lines of wisdom etched on the Master's face. The child glowed brighter, illuminating the uneven stones and scattered debris around them. His sword cut through air in slow arcs, each movement deliberate, each breath measured. Dust rose and floated in golden motes, caught in the first light. Somewhere beyond the ridgeline, distant thunder muttered, or perhaps something darker stirred. Rocks shifted slightly under Kael's feet, and faint tremors seemed to pass through the valley as he trained. Lyra watched from a distance, her bow resting lightly against her shoulder. The faintest smile touched her lips as Kael stumbled through a pattern too quick, too wild. "You fight like a storm," she teased when she finally approached. "Learn to listen before you strike." Sunlight glinted across her hair, and her eyes reflected both warmth and steely resolve. Kael answered only with a nod. They sparred under the Grand Master's gaze, their rhythm awkward at first. Then, slowly, forming sync, the echo of blades and arrows weaving a fragile melody. Dust and light danced around them like embers, caught in the child's pulsing glow. Every swing and release left traces of light in the air, fading like fleeting memories. Wind carried whispers from the forest edge. Shadows flickered between trees, unseen yet felt. The Grand Master raised his staff slightly, eyes narrowing. "Darkness observes those who rise," he murmured. "Let it see that you do not kneel." Lyra released an arrow into the mist. It flew true, slicing through a silhouette that dissolved into smoke. Kael exhaled sharply. Instinct met training. The first trial had begun. The valley seemed alive with the hum of anticipation, dust spiraling in the arrow's wake. Distant drums echoed faintly hollow. Distant, not of any army they knew. The Grand Master's robes flared as he turned. "Alaric scouts move," he said. "The realm stirs sooner than I hoped." Kael's pulse quickened. Lyra's eyes hardened. The two exchanged a glance that spoke of fear, courage, and the unspoken promise to stand together. The trees and ruins around them seemed to lean closer, shadows stretching unnaturally, stirred by some unseen presence. They trained until their limbs trembled. Sweat darkened their tunics, dust and light danced like sparks around them. Each swing, each stance, each breath became a rhythm of endurance. Kael felt pieces of his old self-shattered doubt replaced by quiet resolve. Lyra's movements were precise and graceful, every arrow loosed with intent, weaving a protective rhythm around him. "Kael," The child pulsed brighter with each coordinated action, as if recognizing the unity forming between them. At dusk, the Grand Master approached. Staff flaring faintly, robes shifting in the evening wind, he said, "Every victory begins with survival. You have taken your first step." Night fell, silvering the valley beneath twin moons. Kael stood at the edge of camp, watching the child glow gently in his palm. Its soft hum filled the air, vibrating lightly through the stones. Lyra hummed near the fire, a melody of long-forgotten places, threading through the valley's stillness. The Grand Master's voice echoed again, deep and distant. "Tomorrow, the world will test your faith. Do not fear what you see. Fear what you ignore." Kael turned toward the mountains, clouds bleeding gold and crimson. Somewhere beyond, Alaric gathered his legions. Somewhere deeper still, the eclipse waited to rise. Storm clouds gathered faintly, and a cold wind swept the valley floor. Lyra joined him, presence quiet but sure. "You think too much," she said, half smiling. "The path is long. Save your strength." He chuckled faintly. "Do you ever stop?" "Not until we see the light again." Silence stretched, filled only by the hum of the child between them. For a moment, the world seemed still balanced between dawn and dusk, creation and ruin. Then, the earth trembled. A low pulse rippled through the valley, vibrating through stone and soil. Dust rose, swirling in the moonlight, rocks shifting faintly. Trees bent slightly with the tremor, and distant animal calls echoed in alarm. The Grand Master's staff flared. "It begins," he whispered. Kael felt the weight of destiny settle upon his shoulders, not as a burden, but as a call. The child blazed in his hand, casting gold across his face. Lyra raised her bow, eyes glinting in the growing darkness. From the dark horizon, a horn sounded a note of challenge and remembrance, reverberating through valley and mountain alike. Kael lifted his sword. "Let them come." And with that, light clashed with shadow, for the first time since the world forgot its name. The valley itself seemed to hold its breath as the rising storm of fate unfolded, echoing through stone, sky, and mist.